You ever get a health test result back and just stare at it like this makes no sense? Or even worse, you get two results that totally contradict each other. Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty common medical puzzle when your blood sugar tests seem to be telling two completely different stories. So, which one is telling the truth?
I mean, just imagine this for a second. One test says your blood sugar is high. Uh-oh, that could be a problem. But another test, taken right around the same time, says everything's perfectly normal. So what gives? Which one are you supposed to believe? It's a real situation a lot of people face, and yeah, it can be super confusing. Okay, so to get to the bottom of this mystery, we've got to meet our two main characters. These are the two most common tests your doctor uses to check for diabetes and see how your blood sugar is doing, the FPG and the HbA1c. Now, they both measure sugar, sure, but they do it in ways that are, well, fundamentally different. So first on the scene, we've got the fasting plasma glucose, or FPG for short. The absolute best way to think about this test is like it's a snapshot. It measures the exact amount of sugar floating around in your blood at that single specific moment the sample is taken. It's a precise look at the right now. And then there's our second character, the HbA1c. Now, if the FPG is just a quick snapshot, the HbA1c is the whole 3-month movie. Seriously, it doesn't care about one single moment. Instead, it looks back and measures how much sugar has been sticking to your red blood cells over the past 2 or 3 months. It gives you a long-term average, the big picture. All right, so let's put these two head to head. You've got the FPG, our snapshot, telling us what's happening today. But it can get thrown off by things like a stressful morning or maybe that extra piece of cake you had last night. Then you've got the HbA1c, our movie, which gives us the much bigger picture. It kind of smooths out all those daily ups and downs to show the real trend. And this is where things get really interesting, when these two stories just don't line up. And that brings us right to the heart of the mystery. Let's look at two totally real-world scenarios for the same person, a 65-year-old man where that snapshot and that movie are telling completely different tales. Okay, so check this out. In case number 1, his FPG, that's the snapshot, remember, is 130. That's high, that's in the diabetic range. But his HbA1c, the 3-month average, is a totally normal 5.3%. Wild, right? A complete contradiction. Then you look at case number 2, and it's the exact opposite. His snapshot FPG is a cool 100, which is normal, but his 3-month movie, the HbA1c, is way up at 7.0%, which clearly signals diabetes. What is going on here? And that is the million-dollar question. How on earth is this possible? Is one of these tests just wrong? Lying to us? Well, the answer is actually a little more complicated, and honestly, way more fascinating than that. The tests themselves aren't wrong. There's something else behind the scenes influencing the story they're telling. All right, time to put on our detective hats and uncover the hidden clues. Let's really break down why these numbers can be so different and find the real culprits behind all this confusion. Okay, and here's the big reveal. Neither test is actually lying. It's just that there are other things happening in your body, other physiological factors that can mess with the results, especially that HbA1c. They can completely change the story of that 3-month movie. And here they are, our main suspects, the things that can interfere with the results. The lifespan of your red blood cells is a huge one. And things that affect that lifespan, like anemia, a lack of healthy red blood cells, or an iron deficiency, can really throw a wrench in the works. Even your age and ethnicity can play a role in how that HbA1c test comes out. So let's see how this solves our two cases. In case number 1, where the HbA1c was way too low, that person might have a condition like anemia. This makes their red blood cells live for a shorter time. Less time on the job means less time for sugar to glom onto them, which gives you a falsely low average. See? Now, in case number 2, the exact opposite could be happening. A condition like an iron deficiency can actually make red blood cells live longer than normal. More time means more sugar can pile up, giving you a falsely high HbA1c reading. It just goes to show you how much your own unique biology can change the whole story. Okay, so we've cracked the case on why this happens, but now for the really important part. What do you actually do if you're the one staring at these conflicting results? Let's map out a solid action plan. It's a pretty simple 3-step plan. First up, get more evidence. Don't let your whole health picture rest on just 2 numbers. Ask your doctor about other tests, like an oral glucose tolerance test, that can give a more dynamic view.
Second, focus on what you can control, your lifestyle. A healthy diet and regular exercise, those things are always going to have a positive impact, no matter what the tests say. And third, this is the big one, always consult the expert. Talk through these conflicting results with your doctor. They can look at all the evidence, your personal history, and help create a plan that's actually right for you.
So if there's one thing to remember from all of this, it's this. No single number can ever tell the whole story of your health. You got to think of it more like a narrative, with a bunch of different chapters and plot points. The FPG is one sentence, the HbA1c is a paragraph, but it's your doctor who helps you read the entire book.
So the next time you're looking at a lab result, try not to just see a number. Ask yourself, is this just a quick snapshot, or is it telling a bigger story? And more importantly, what other parts of my story might be missing?